Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 928. And sorry this one's as late as it is, guys. It's been a long. I was trying to take down as many notes as I could and get my thoughts straight on paper as much as it was kind of hard to just kind of get down so many thoughts on this episode because there's a lot of thoughts I had on this episode, so that's the reason why this one's so late. But yeah, with that said, One Piece episode 928. And so, obviously, the big thing to talk about in this episode is the fact that Kyoshiro killed Komurasaki. And that's one of those turning points in the series where it couldn't have been more obvious to me now, more than ever before, as to who these two people are. I mean, obviously, there's the whole thing with, like, the fact that I've read the manga and I know who Komurasaki and Kyoshiro actually are, but it's also one of those turning points. It's also one of those things where it's also one of those things where it's also one of those things where the anime obviously has done a lot in order to make it more obvious, but just the act in itself, and the fact that Kyoshiro so easily jumped in to kill her on the spot, as he did, was way more telling now than when I first read this in the manga, and is weirdly enough is even more revealing in showing us a glimpse of who Kyoshiro and who Komurasaki as characters actually are, just through their interactions in this episode. Yet at the same time, even though there was a lot more revealing elements of this episode, there were just as many more subtleties about it as well, because there was just as many more subtleties that pretty much revealed their true motives and loyalties. Like, one scene specifically that really stuck out to me in this sense is what Kyoshiro says to Orochi after killing Komurasaki. Like, what he says to him in that moment is honestly a little more revealing of his character than pretty much anything after that point. Like, it really, like, in that moment, believe it or not, he basically his mask dropped of who he was pretending to be and who he actually is. Like, just in that moment alone, it showed so much about who he is. Even before, and honestly, even before Kyoshiro kills Komurasaki, their small exchange of words is even more telling now than it was before, because it shows that, yeah, there was a connection there. Like, it's a connection that basically goes deeper, beyond, like, just deeper than just Komurasaki technically being, than just Kyoshiro technically being Komurasaki's boss. Like, there's definitely a connection there that, again, I can't, for anime onlys who still exist out there, it's yeah. Well, let's just say that there was a lot revealed just in those moments alone. In that moment alone, then that told us it was visual storytelling at its best. Like, that moment alone just told us everything we needed to know about who these people were than ever before. And yeah, going off a continuing theme pattern, I'm starting to notice Brook goes from thinking he had noticed Brook's devil fruit going from one he sees as the most useless devil fruits to him having one of the most versatile devil fruits. And I'm not even joking. From Whole Cake Island to now, and maybe even before that, even before Whole Cake Island, his devil fruit ability has proven to be the most useful and situational, as it more than helped him in his fight with Big Mom. And now, here in Wano, it was being used to assist Robin in escaping. Of course, in this scenario, Brook being able to detach his spirit from his body is so convenient, as it allows him to not only play off the haunting ancestor spirit angle, but at the same time, by doing so, he still keeps his identity mostly secret. Like, even though Robin and Nami are more or less exposed, I think it's pretty safe to say that Brook and himself, I think, is gonna escape mostly out of this, like, pretty much without his actual name, like, being revealed or something like that. And again, the only reason as to why he's able to do that to begin with is because of how Wano exists as a country and how steeped in traditional Japanese lore they are. Like because of just how Wano functions as a country, like Brook was able to play off the haunted ancestor ghost angle like so well, because it fits so well into what the belief system, what Wano everything Wano exists as a country. Like Brook playing that angle, it just works so well in him being able to help Robin and Nami. Honestly, like it really, again, Brook, like his devil fruit is proven is like I'll say this from a manga perspective. I don't know. Like, it's actually kind of amazing how well that Oda has actually used Brooks' devil fruit up to this point. It's really kind of intriguing the more I think about it and the more I see stuff like this. Now we have to talk about the unfortunate part of this episode is we have to talk about a certain elephant in the room, which is that art and the being art and animation, which I'll start by saying that art and animation was pretty good in the penultimate moment of the episode, where obviously Komurasaki got killed, and whenever it was just on like a stagnant scene where no one was moving. But beyond that, art-wise, there were so many scenes that felt either very unfinished or just off model. And on the animation front, there were more than a couple times where it felt like there were, like, honestly, like either it was moving too fast or frames were missing specifically when characters were moving. And that created a problem for me where the artwork issues became even like with the way that the animation was handled in this episode. The artwork became even more of a jarring issue for me. Like, almost like combining these two problems together created, like combining these two elements together. There were more than a couple moments that made me actually jump back in my chair a few times out of whoa, really? That? Really? I had to, there were just more than a couple scenes, I'll say, that just were not up to par. Okay, I guess what I'm saying here is that these like, it's one of those things where I'm trying to give both art and animation a little more leeway nowadays, but I do still have to call balls and strikes. And here, I can safely say that the art and animation this week was far from Toei's best effort. Like, even at Toei's, like, even when Toei is just at the acceptable levels of art and animation, even those episodes are better than what we got in this episode. Like, this episode was a fascinating experience for me. I'll say that much about it. But I suppose to make up for it, though, one thing I thought that was pretty good in this episode was the pacing, because I thought going into this episode, I thought the episode would end after Komurasaki died, but it kept going a little longer after that, which was good to showcase our heroes getting in on the chaos. Like, seeing Nami use Zeus was more than a welcome thing, and just seeing Nami pretty much fight and actually use her power in order to, like, incapacitate, even if briefly, briefly Orochi, like seeing her seeing her go up against Orochi was actually pretty freaking epic. So I'll give it, like, it's even more epic than I remember it being. So yeah, there's that. The other thing too is we get to see some plotting. We get to see the Straw Hats, specifically Chopper's group again, plotting the next step from where they are. And I really found myself on Chopper's side more and more in this situation he's landed himself in, because, oh boy, using Big Mom as a means to set Luffy free, what could possibly go wrong? Except, everything. Like, seriously, this is not complicated. The moment, like, seriously, this is not complicated by any stretch of the imagination. The moment Big Mom regains her memory, shit is gonna go south. But in that sense, I guess Tama and Momonosuke's willingness to go forward with something so dangerous does expose the flaws with Wano being closed off from the rest of the world. So they're just unaware of the dangers that exist. They exist beyond their borders, and Big Mom is a definite danger. That goes without saying. So, but yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. That night from me, signing off. Later, guys.